Welcome back to Sonic Megamix Mania. For our next part, we're playing as Mighty the Armadillo. If you don't know, Sonic Megamix Mania is a reimagining of the Sonic Megamix ROM hack that had its final version come out in 2008. Look that up between parts. Look at me go. The research. Google searching is insane. What a skill. Anyway, that original hack, the 2018 hack, or not 2018, 2008 ROM hack of Sonic 1 was led by Simon Tomley, who you may know better as Stealth, or the head of Headcanon, who co-created Sonic Mania with Christian Whitehead, and some others. And this is a new team's reimagining of that ROM hack. Now, just saying it's a reimagining is kind of underselling it. This to Megamix Mania to the original Megamix is like what Breath of the Wild is to Zelda 1. Like, this hack's really good. Or not hack. This is a mod. The original one's a hack. Megamix Mania is a mod. So hard keeping everything straight. Anyway, we're playing as Mighty here. Almost done through all of our characters. He's got the Insta-Shield. He's able to use the Sonic Shield abilities. Because Sonic can't normally use them because he has the jump, dash, and homing attack. He also has his hammer drop from regular Mania, and I think that's it. Yes, we love Google. Googling is cool. Fun fact, if you didn't know, that in the original Sonic Mania, the Insta-Shield had half of the time and a much smaller hitbox than it did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So, for Mighty here, since he's the one with the Insta-Shield, the Megamix Mania team made it a lot closer to how it is in Sonic 3 versus how it is in Sonic Mania. Definitely just a bit of a novelty in that one. Guess that's why it's not part of Sonic's main moveset. But yeah, we got probably like the easy mode. Oh, also, as you've seen from the footage, Mighty can wall jump. I'm already playing with all the Chaos Emeralds collected. Check out Sonic's part. If you're watching Mighty's part without watching Sonic's part, I salute you. Because I don't know who would do that. But in Sonic's part, I collected all the Chaos Emeralds, so I'm playing the rest of the characters just with them collected. I collected all of them with Sonic by the time I got to the 4th zone, so I try to avoid using the super form until then. It was actually pretty cool in the original hack. Mighty had the ability to store shields. So like when you collected a shield, you would just like put it in a bank and then you'd be able to swap between them at your leisure. Kinda wish that was here, because Mighty is probably my least favorite character to play. Well, you know, I wouldn't say that. I would say probably Knuckles is. But Mighty's definitely second from the bottom. Now, obviously, this is in the room of greats where everyone's fun to play as, but the shield storage thing I think would be cool. I think I remember someone mentioning that in the Megamix Mania Discord, and they said they removed it because they felt it was too strong. But it's Mighty. He kind of needs to be OP to be incentivized to play as him. To the one Mighty fan in the room, I'm not sorry. Yeah, kind of what Super Mario World would do, but I don't know if anything's changed for Classic Mode. At the current moment, I've only played through Megamix Mode on Megamix Mania. I haven't played the Classic Mode yet. Oh, it caused a lot of problems. Okay, I guess I just misread the message. Also, the bubble bounce feels more like the Adventure 2 bounce bracelet than it does, like the Sonic 3 and K bounce, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that might be a decompilation hatch engine thing. Because, yeah, not only is Megamix Mania a fully completed mod, and it's really good, but the team is on crack and has just decided we're going to continue to develop this. Like, the version 2.0 they have planned is set up for release on the decompilation of Sonic Mania, which gives them a lot of freedom. And then version 3.0 is set up for the hatch engine, which from what I understand is kind of like what Chaos is doing with PO6, where sort of everything's being ported and updated in a new engine, so there's even more freedom than what the decompilation would allow, and make adding things a lot easier. So even though Megamix Mania is already ridiculously content dense, there's even more in the pipeline, which is just nuts. So not only is it already great, there's a ton to look forward to down the line. Google's actually a verb in the Japanese language? I mean, I would imagine that Google's just a verb at all. You know you've changed the world when your brand name becomes a verb. Like Band-Aid or Kleenex. Well, I would imagine. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, but Google is also a number, like an extraordinarily large number. I don't remember if, like, the actual full thing is called Googleplex or if Googleplex is its own number, but I imagine that's what Google was named after, you know, search engine can make shit ton of searches. Because that's what I've always loved about Google is the little, like, big dickin'. That, like, whenever you search something, it says, like, found 5 billion results in, like, 0.2 seconds at the very top. It's a small thing, but I think it's cute. That's still there, even after all these years. Ooh, nice. Wait, you have more music to do? Wait, what do you mean? Like, in terms of adding more characters? I do know they planned on, like, bosses and stuff, too. I'd have to look at the sheet again of the content roadmap. I might look at it after I finish this stage here. Hello? Okay. Had to use my little thinker there. One with 100 zeros. That makes sense. Zipper's a brand name? Oh, I didn't know that. I'm not that emotionally invested to fact check, so I'll take your word for it until proven wrong. Oh, nice. That's exciting. I look forward to playing Classic Mode, since I now have experience with the original Megamix. I gotta say, of all the things in 1.0, they did emulate the bullshit of the last zone of Megamix very well. Am I just like... I don't think this is a soft lock. Am I not supposed to be here, or am I just not seeing the vision? Oh, I wasn't seeing the vision. The Jackbox Games trivia, wow. Well, it's the Mighty playthrough. We gotta spice it up somehow. True. I need glasses for my glasses. I got a double glass up. An actual tutorial of how to set up the Mania decomp? I am sure there is a YouTube video on how to do it. Yep. The act clear, the 1-up, the invincibility, and the speed shoes are all different for every character. Yep, I believe it's that way in the original Megamix, so... Very cool. That they kept the flavor there. Doesn't look like Wall Kick's gonna get up there for me. We'll take the lame way. I also believe Mighty retains his, like... You can, like, jump on spikes once when you're in a curl. I'm not entirely sure about that. If I remember, I'll test it next time I see some spikes. Hey, there are some. No, he does not. Okay. True super themes? Yo. As long as there's a toggle, I'm down for it. I also personally would love a ability to remove the super HUD, like the Y button telling you that it's time to go super. I normally use a no HUD for regular Mania, and I was kind of hoping that it would work for Megamix, but it doesn't, unfortunately. Oh, the spike bounce is still here? Do I have to, like, insta-shield on the spike or something? Well, I imagine that would just give me invincibility. Well, considering how it works in Mania, Mr. Real Deal. I did the same thing I would have done in regular Mania, and it didn't work, so I figured it wasn't there. This fucking guy. Hubris is too big being the Windows guy for his company. Thinks he's a hot shot everywhere. Tisk tisk. Think it depends on the height? Oh my god, I have 6, 7, 200 points. Let's go. Was that a good one? Ah, I see. Whenever I see Mordecai, I immediately think of Borderlands. So, that was a very confusing statement to me for a moment. But I think I'm there now. Yeah, we can try the height thing. I definitely have seen, like, him getting protected from projectiles, like Mania. Oh, I'm dead. Yep. Had I jumped a little bit earlier, I would have been fine. But, oops. Oh, I came over here again. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. I will try it when the opportunity arises, yeah, if I remember. Oh, like the hammer drop protects you? I thought in regular Mania, though, you can just, like, fall on spikes once. Or am I misremembering how it works in regular Mania?
It's showtime.
Yeah, that's what I thought, just in Mania, it's while he's spinning. Okay. He is. He's trying to catch me. What's an armadillo Pokemon? I was gonna say Armaldo. Oh, the sprites were freaking out there for a moment. Is it because... Oh. It's like when I'm on the corner here. Mighty's trying to trip. Whoa! Is Armaldo... See, okay, I know it's gonna sound dumb because Armaldo sounds like armadillo. I guess Armaldo. I get prehistoric armadillo. I always thought of Sandslash more as a mole, but I guess that makes sense. In the anime, he curls into a ball and stuff too, so... Checks out. Oh, yeah. I forgot. Shrews are animals. When can we go back to the Gen 1 designs when everything was based on something real? Like Voltorb and Muck. I don't know. I never really had the beef with Garbodor that a lot of folks did. I'm like, bruh, I'd much rather... Garbodor is a way cooler Pokemon idea than Muck. Okay, here we go. Here's a bed of spikes. Okay. Wait, no, I had a shield. I don't remember. That just looks like the path swapped too early there. Dude, this game is so bad. I've only encountered, like, 3 issues, and, like, 2 of them were basically nothing. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think just because it's a fan game, like, to excuse it. Because, like, there's looking at it from it being a free fan project, and there's also looking at it and that it's still a thing that I am playing, and I would like to enjoy it. So I don't think it's, like, terribly fair to just write off the problems and be like, oh, it's alright. Like, it has problems, but, like, you know, the internet can do funny things where, like, I could take that clip of the collision not working and, like, put, like, wow, great Sonic game, guys, like, as the title. And then people would be like, oh, Megamix Mania actually sucks. People said this shit was peak, you know. So it's all about, like, the perspective and context in which you give. Yeah. This shit is still awesome. It does have quirks, though. Which isn't surprising considering that Mania, what it's based off of, also has quirks. Retro engine moment didn't appear out of nowhere. But for this game, the positives severely outweigh the negatives, that's for sure. And that there's more updates coming in the future is just the cherry on top as well. Ultra Fix, that's what it's called. Oh, you also did stuff for Ultra Fix? That's cool. You get a ton of harassment on Ultra Fix. Wait, what reason? I said a lot of words, so I'm not sure which one you're referring to. Oh, nice. What's up, Call Me Ben? Do I have any Sonic criticism that I've seen point out I never thought about? You have any Sonic criticism you saw someone point out you never thought about, but after hearing you can't stop thinking about?
It's showtime.
No, not really. I would say in terms of all of the things, it's usually positive stuff. As if I'm watching any Sonic content, it's usually, you know, positive. Like Pariah talking about passivity traps is a big one. And then like Ajax and like all his little stuff. Like I never knew about the skip on the second 2D section in Arid Sands Day. That allowed you to skip that really shitty part with all the flamethrowers and wall jumping and stuff. You do a lot of music? I guess I'm just confused, I suppose. Like, how does that translate to the music, I suppose? Yes, Ajax is V good. Top tier. Oh. Like, because of this game, and I'm just, like, in a classic Sonic mindset, like, when I'm thinking about it, when I'm trying to read chat and stuff, I just forget I have certain abilities sometimes. Ooh, that's mighty convenient. And no longer convenient. Made it. Misty Maze 1 here. Different for every character. Except for Amy. I think Amy goes through something similar to Mighty here. But I guess we'll see for sure. I'm gonna play as Amy next. Hut, hut, hut. Trash because the remixes don't sound enough like Sonic 3. Because it wasn't finished and I had to rush it out the door. Oh? Contra Syndrome? Or was that always a bottomless pit there? Well... Was it... If it wasn't finished and rushed out the door, then yeah. I think it's important to remember how it's presented as well. If you make a mod called Sonic Origins. Ultra Fix. And then it has stuff in it that doesn't feel like ultra fixing, then I see that. Maybe? I'd be interested in... I'm not saying, like, you're wrong or anything. I would be interested to see the full context, though. Of that. Oh, I thought that was a wall. This is not good. It's right there! The surface! None really, because I'm just so good at classic Sonic games, I don't get PTSD from them. I wouldn't say that's just something to knock Sonic fans for. I think that's just the case of the internet in general. Of that, we now get to have conversations of people from many different walks of life and different countries that have different cultures. And also, there could be many instances of folks who natively speak English talking to people whose English may not be as good. So the words could get jumbled up. I would imagine they're on by default, though, right? If I learned anything, most people don't look at config menus before they start the mod, so. Oh my god, I'm doing it again. It's just this little section here where there's not air bubbles for a little bit. Mighty, get out of there! Yeah. Well, that's the #1 rule of doing anything customer facing, is that no matter how blatantly you put the sign in front of a person, they'll find a way to not read it. And I'm not saying that like I'm above that I do that all the time. Or I ask a really dumb question, it's literally right in front of my face. That's been true pre-internet as well. Oh, there's that weird spike thing again. What I really hope is that the spikes going back and forth there, even though it doesn't do anything, is sort of like a game design thing to make something else work. Because that kind of little stuff just always is a treat for me. Also very complicated, I see, yeah. Well, I'm also not the kind of person that's just like, yeah, fuck that guy, you know? So, I apologize I could not give you your validation. But if it's really long and complicated, then yeah, distilling it down to one sentence just to roast people. But yeah, the principle still stands. Wow. Alright, the hammer drop. Yo, thanks for the good luck, Rev. Did you see my comment I put on your video? Because I know you live in YouTube Studio. What do you want them to understand? Yeah. Well, because I watched the first, like, 30 seconds of it, and I was like, I sound a lot younger. And then I saw you do a high jump, and I was like, oh, it's that old. Or I guess we sound a lot younger. Oh, do I have to, like, hammer drop off of these? Come on, Noodle. Noodle brain. Get up there, Mighty! Do I need, like, a bubble shield? What? How do I do this? Well, you're probably not gonna like what I'm about to say, is that, like, coming from a person who gets, like, really mean comments a lot about my Sonic opinions, is that, like, not everybody's gonna understand nor care. And, like, there are probably a lot of the people, and I would imagine a lot of people... Why can't I get this? I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna move on. I've been here for like 5 minutes. What feels like 5 minutes anyway. Like, people are gonna critique the shit. Like, that's just a fact of creating something and putting it out into the world, is that it's gonna be critiqued. So, like, you can say what you want as an excuse, but the only people who like excuses are the ones making them. Because at the end of the day, if it's still, like, unfinished and stuff, it's not it. Yes. You can check out the Sonic part to see what it is. Oh. Which, I guess, if you're live with me, you'll have to rewind the VOD. Either if you're a sub on Twitch or free on YouTube. Yep, I'm playing through the characters somewhat in order here. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily looking at it objectively because I'm speaking to you from my own bias of things that have happened to me. And yes, it is difficult to deal with when it's constant. Again, also something that I experience a lot. The difficult part is trying to distill the opinions that you believe to be important, right? Because, like, if I have 3 people that, like, make a comment on my video saying that, like, this is stupid and dumb and not explained well, and the video has 100,000 views, do the comments of those 3 people outweigh the hundreds of thousands of people that have watched it and most of them had enjoyed it? But no, I absolutely understand. And it sucks, but I don't like saying it's a fact of, like, doing something and putting it out in the world, but that just is that there are gonna be folks who criticize it and don't understand where you're coming from, and that can be a good thing, because no one will be more real than you than strangers. That's sort of the positive way to look at it, too, is that you get told directly how you're doing. It's one thing I really appreciate about this job, because I found in my life that for whatever reason, like, sometimes people would have a problem with me, and they would not confront me about it until, like, literally 3 to 4 years later. But, like, if someone has an issue with me on the internet, I know immediately. Or if I mess up, I know immediately. And that's pretty nice. But ultimately, it's up to you whether or not it's worth it. Like, whether or not it matters. And that's the hard part, too, is that the mean, in quotes, comments, they only sting if you feel there is some truth to them. Because obviously, if someone comes in the stream and is like, Stelmo, you're a fucking green-haired alien dumb idiot. Like, I'm gonna be like, whatever, I don't have green hair. Like, it's just so far from the truth. But it's the comments that you feel are true that really stick. Is the whole game done? Yes, version 1.1 contains the 1.0 content. More content is coming in future versions of Megamix Mania, but this is like, yes, the finished product. I love Megamix Mania. I think it's really good. Constructive criticism is always good. Well, that's why I always try to push that, like, if you want to give criticism on something you don't like, keep it as neutral as possible, because then I'll actually consider it. Because if you're going to be mean in your criticism, then, like, I have to deal with the fact that I'm a human being and I'm gonna get emotional if you use, like, strong negative language in your criticism. I'm gonna be a lot more receptive of it if you take it from a neutral or positive stance. I talk about it, like, fairly often, is that Gordon Ramsay, in his Hot Ones interview, he talks about how, like, he wished people weren't, like, snowflakes all the time. And, like, just learn to take criticism, which I agree with him with. But it's a lot easier to take criticism if you don't have to fight the emotion of someone being mean to you as well. Because all of a sudden, it's not about criticizing the thing anymore, it's about criticizing you, which, once I learned about the ad hominem logical fallacy, which is you attack the person rather than the thing, like, it completely changed my perspective on how, like, arguments work. Because once ad hominem rolls in, it's over. Because it's no longer about the thing, it's about the person. Nice. Because it's hard to explain what constructive criticism is. And it's also a thing that, again, like I said before, is that folks come from all different walks of life and stuff. That what is mean to somebody could not be mean to someone else. Because, like, nowadays, when I get negative comments or hate... Oh, Windows 11 stutter, let's go. First one of the stream. When I get negative comments or hate comments, I try to see, like, what is this person trying to say? Like, if it's just garbage, nothing, like, you're a dumbass and I disagree with your Sonic opinion, like, whatever. But, like, if they're saying something that's, like, you know, mechanical, like, even if it's in a mean way, like, bro, why do you sound like that or something? I'm like, is there something I could actually do? Is there a problem here? No, my Windows 11 just occasionally stutters. It's not a huge deal. It maybe happens once or twice a stream. Yeah, it is hard, I think, to define the difference between criticism and harassment. And I know, like, oh, well, why don't you just look up the dictionary definition? Is like, I like to define terms in my own words because I understand them better and can navigate them better. And, like, the dictionary definition's a good place to start, but sometimes the definitions that the dictionary gives aren't very actionable. And, like, thinking about, like, what is harassment? Like, it's a hard word to use because it's, and I'm not talking about, like, sexual harassment. I'm talking about, like, just verbal. Like, the line is different for everyone, you know? Bullying is a two-way street. It's not just the perpetrator, it's also the victim of it as well. And everyone has different lines. I would say generally in life, having some thicker skin is helpful because then you can get more criticism from more sources, but... Oh, I missed it. What's up, David? Well, here I am again. In the flesh. Well, digital flesh. I don't really think, like, saying, like, the game is garbage. Like, whatever. I mean, if that's what you think, you know? Because criticism is also a two-way street in that you don't have to respond to it. Like, I had a, there was a thing in here in a previous stream where someone was like, Sonic Robo Blast 2 is like garbage and slippery and I don't know how to control it or whatever. And I was like, that's fine. Just don't play the game, you know? Like, I can give you alternatives, I can suggest other things, but ultimately, if you don't like the game, just don't play the game. You know, people wanna... Don't try shoving it down other people's throats, but isn't that, like, gaming YouTube? Is to give your opinion in an entertaining enough way that folks enjoy it, whether they agree with you or not. Yeah, tone is a lot more important than folks give it credit for. You can say the same sentence in two completely different ways and you get two extremely different outcomes.
It's showtime.
I really like the saying of words shape our experiences. Because the language you use to describe an experience you have shapes how you remember that experience. Like, if I, you know, after the stream was like, dude, I played Megamix Mania, and that shit was some of the most fantastic Sonic I've ever played, it elicits different emotions from me than being like, you know, I liked Megamix Mania, and it was good. Everyone wants to be right, even when they're wrong. But the interesting thing is that the only way to be 100% right is to admit when you're wrong, because then you're right about being wrong. I mean, if we're gonna go deep, fuck it, we're playing as Mighty. If we want to go deep, this is something that I've talked about on stream before because I'm really passionate about it, is it's really unfortunate that the world punishes learning. And I'll explain it in that... And this is all what I believe, so take it for funny man in dog shirt playing Sonic game, grain of salt, is I've sort of found through my observations that when arguments happen online, there is a point that I have defined as the climax of the argument, and that's when... The climax of an argument is what I define as when it is revealed what is more right and what is more wrong about the argument. I'm not saying the person, I'm not saying either party is right or wrong, because it's very tough to be 100% right or 100% wrong about something. In the climax of the argument, generally what happens is the person who aligns with the more quote-unquote correct thing tends to fucking shit on the other person who's more in the wrong on the internet, because it's like the ego trip, like, haha, I'm right, you're stupid, Fortnite default dance, you suck and you're a loser. Except the problem with that is that the point in which it is revealed what is right and what is wrong, or more right or more wrong, is the point in which the parties learn something new. So if you make fun of somebody at the point of learning, as a human being, you are going to not want to be in that position as much as possible, which is what leads to folks really digging their heels in the ground and trying to make themselves as right as possible, because it hurts to be wrong, because you literally get punished for being wrong, which sucks because learning is great. I love learning. I hated learning in school, but actually learning in real life is fantastic. And that's why, like, arguments on the internet just suck, because everyone wants to try to be as right as possible to avoid the pain. And the fact that learning, one of the most important skills in life, is painful. Terrible. And my recommendation that I pose is that if you're in an argument and the climax of the argument happens and your position is more in the right, let the other person respond first. Because that way you can navigate, based on their reaction, you can navigate how to handle it. So, like, say something about PO6, for example. Someone's claiming that Silver can't do the teleport dash in PO6. I'm like, no, he totally can, whatever. So we go to PO6, we test it, and like, we find Silver can teleport dash, okay. So I shut up, and, you know, if they go like, ah, shit, my bad, dog, I'm like, okay, we're lighthearted about this, you know, we can do some teasing or whatever. And if they're like, you know, ah, shit, sorry, man, you know, like, that sucks. Or, like, sorry, man, I didn't realize I was wrong. Then I can be like, hey, no worries, you know. Not my thing, we're just learning. Because I can also give an example of the opposite situation that I had on stream where someone was claiming something in chat about a game. I went into the game to test it, turned out I was incorrect, and I was like, shit, my bad, you know, I didn't mean to make fun of you, I was confident in this. And they were like, haha, guess what, I'm right, touting their chest, you know, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm right, you know, like, you're such a loser and stuff. And that sucked. And honestly, that moment is kind of what, like, spurred this this thought process. But yeah, anyway, that's my grain of salt. I'm a man in a dog shirt in his late 20s playing a Sonic game opinion on arguments on the internet. But it's something I'm really passionate about because I love learning, and taking that new position has helped me so much in my life, and I've made greater strides. So I share that in the hopes that it helps somebody. Yeah. Well, because it's also that I think the original intention of an argument, the goal of an argument has shifted from both parties learn something to I want to be more right than you. Because, in my opinion, if only one person wins an argument, then both people lose. Which is a weird thing to say, but... What's up, Logan? Love the constructive discussion. Like I said, I hope it helps. Yeah. No, I definitely have the mindset of you only lose when you stop. Everything else is a win. Because you either win, you learn, or both. Which is kind of funny because, like, a business guy that I've been following for a while, like, he is recently kind of talking about the point of, like, I don't want to lose because I don't want to learn how to lose. I want to learn how to win. And I was like, I don't really agree with that. It's like, losing is winning, just not in the short term. The only way to truly lose is to stop. Which is funny because I think another one of his sayings, like, sort of contradicts it, is that you win or you quit before you win. You could absolutely learn in winning. Like, one of the simplest business models is if you have something that performs well, continue to make things that emulate what that thing did well. I mean, that's just like content in a nutshell. It's what most, like, people who make business content do, is they look at their top 5 pieces of content at the end of the month, and then they try to emulate that in every future piece of content that they do, because that's what works and what people are interested in. It's what I do too. But you don't either win or you learn. You just win, and learning is part of the process, unless you stop. If you stop, you lose. So that's the only losing condition in whatever, in learning a skill and starting a business and doing anything. The only way you lose is if you stop. So, pretty easy to win, all things considered. Okay, I have to be in the air to untransform. So in summary, the lack of acknowledging one's mistakes, instead of others' opinions, just because they want to be right about stuff. That's not really. I would say more in summary is that when you engage in an argument, when the climax of the argument happens, which is when it's revealed what is more right and more wrong, if your position is more in the right, then let the other person react first. And then mirror their reaction. That would be the takeaway. Oh. Ooh, that was almost really bad. Well, I can't look at chat right now or else I'm gonna get crushed. So I should probably finish this out before I read more. There we go. Another perspective shift that I had is when I read a book called Verbal Judo. Yeah, it looks like the camera thing's just a 1.1 bug. Perspective shift in general is I read a book called Verbal Judo, which take it for a grain of salt, read the book yourself, and take what's in the book for a grain of salt as always. Is that book is written by a retired cop, and he looked at a study of your brain's, like how the brain functions with different emotions, and it turns out when you are angry, you are working with the same mental capacity as a dog. That's why things become a lot more clearer after the argument's over. Because your brain's unlocked now that the emotion died down. And it's so hard to remember, but like, that's why people like say things when they don't mean it and stuff. Yeah, Bonzo's always angry, it's true. Alrighty, I'm gonna end this part here. We might continue this off into Amy's part, but anyway, hope I helped somebody out there. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.